Okay, so welcome back to my channel. I am super excited this week, if you can't tell. It's How to Train Dragon Week, which I'm excited for every single week I do because I love giving you guys these videos. But this week, extra excited because I actually haven't covered this topic yet in a full way. Sort of. I mean, I've covered this topic multiple times, but only in small quantities. When I was doing my comparison and opinion videos, it was 50-50. When I was doing my favorite elements, I've only covered it a little bit. I will be talking about the books. Now, of course, these aren't all of them. This is just the first 5. So, this whole week, I will be giving you 4 videos on the books. Today, we'll be going over the books, why I love them, and why you should read them. Tomorrow, I will be going over the books and the movie. Another great debate video for you guys, which one I like better. Friday, I'll be giving you a video on Hiccup and Kamikaze. And Saturday, I'll be comparing these to the movies. Another comparison and opinion for you guys, but that video could be an hour long, but we'll see. So let's dive in. Alright, so now, the books, if you haven't read the books, that's fine. This may convince you to read them. If you have read them, kudos to you. I will say though, the books aren't very well known. They weren't even known to be a thing because it's written by a Scottish author, so it was pretty popular in the United Kingdom and somewhat here, but it wasn't really known probably until the movies came out in 2010. I didn't even know there were books till it was like spring of it was 2014. I had seen the second movie. My dad brought this book home for me, the first one, and I actually found the second one in the bookstore and I bought it. The rest of these I bought. So let's dive in. Series started with this book, How to Train Your Dragon. Now the books are written by Cressida Cowell, who is a Scottish author and is married to the famous Simon Cowell from America's Got Talent or whatever. And the first book, it's actually quite older than you think. The first book came out in 2003. And pretty much this book is not actually a lot, it's very different from the movie. Pretty much, Hiccup is in a dragon training school with a bunch of other Vikings. And they all have to raise their dragon, and Hiccup ends up getting pretty much the equivalent of a terrible terror in a book, a commoner garden. These dragons are, see if I can find the page on it. Oh, there it is. They're similar that they can be dealt with together. They are the most familiar breeds, the ones we instantly think of when we say dragons. They are poor hunters, but they are easy to train. These dragons are the best kind for family pets, although with a lion or a tiger, they should never be left unsupervised with very young children. So, when you think dragon, you think of the little iguanas with wings. Terrible, that's pretty much what Toothless is in the book. But, and because his father, who's the chief, is very disappointed in him, Toothless, Hiccup makes him think that Toothless is actually a toothless daydream, a very rare species of dragons that only one exists in the world, Toothless. And he ends up raising Toothless. And this book is actually pretty well written. In the end, Toothless and Hiccup end up fighting the Green Death, which is kind of like the Red Death, but it's different. It's a Sea Dragonus Giganticus Maximus. And pretty much Dynasty Hiccup. Next, we come to the second book, How to Be a Pirate. Now, this book came out in 2004, which was the year I was born, so these books are quite old. And in this book, Hiccup is now in the pirate training program. The dragon training program's over with. And he pretty much ends up going on a quest with pretty much the whole Viking village to find the treasure of Grimbeard the Ghastly, who's actually a very important figure later on in the books. I'm not going to get into that. That will be a different video because there's a whole lot. There's the prophecy, there's the King of the Wilderness stuff, and I'm not going to get into that today. That will be a future video. And this is where we meet the famous Alvin the Treacherous. Actually, I should say infamous because he's very infamous. So that's pretty much synopsis of the book. I don't really want to spoil it for you. I'm trying my best not to spoil them. So in this book, they sword fight on a boat, and then they find a coffin, which just so happened to belong to Grimbeard the Ghastly. They open it up, and they find a man inside that isn't Grimbeard. Finds out it's Alvin. Who's he? In the book, he is actually posing as Alvin the poor but honest farmer. And he tells them about Grimbeard's treasure, so they go on a quest to the island of Scullions, who are pretty much dragons who can't hear and can't see and rely only on smell. And when they do find you, they take their little long unicorn horn and pretty much disable you with your Achilles tendon. Eventually, Alvin and Hiccup end up sword fighting and finding the real treasure. Yes. Okay, then we come to the third book, How to Speak Dragonese. So this book, again, I'm pretty sure though, 2005. So this book, pretty much Hiccup and Fishlegs are captured by the Romans, who we eventually find out is led by Alvin the Treacherous. We also meet Kamikaze in this book, and based on the title, you can tell, you get to learn a lot of Dragonese words. So yes, this one, this is not pretty much on the back. It says Toothless has been captured by nano dragons, which are pretty much the size of a mosquito. Actually, they may be a bit bigger. They're like grasshoppers. And it says Toothless has been captured. The nano dragon is about to be gobbled, and sharkworms are on the loose. Sharkworms are pretty much piranhas, dragons, and sharks all mixed together. Once again, we are relying on Hiccup to be a hero. So as you may notice, the first 3 books we kind of get into Hiccup's adventures. Then we move on to the next 3, which I only have 2 of them with me. Book 4, How to Cheat a Dragon's Curse. So if you have seen the Netflix series, and you saw the episode Buffalo Soldier, this book is a lot like that episode, except it isn't the Scourge of Odin, it is Vorpintitis, which you get when you are bitten by a venomous Vorpint, and it isn't Kamikaze that gets sick, it's actually Fishlegs. And Hiccup actually risks his own life to save Fishlegs, heading off to the island of the Hysterics, which is run by the very crazy Norbert the Nutjob, also my favorite villain, in order to find the vegetable that shall not be named, the potato. And this is where we first learn about the prophecy. And this book came out in 2006. I can't find the copyright, but yeah, 2006. And this one, usually sometimes with books they get drug out and stuff, and doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't really feel like you should be reading the series more. The How to Train Your Dragon books, these get better after time. And this book is actually one of the best for the twist. There's the last, let me see what chapters is it? The last, 4 chapters are the best, and there's an epic twist in them, so this one, I highly recommend you read this one. And next we come to How to Twist a Dragon's Tail. This is the 5th book. I always get this one confused with the 8th book. Good thing I read the back before I told you about this one. This one actually is more one of the subtle ones. The action doesn't really happen until the last few chapters, which is kind of the same for all the books. But pretty much this one, the Firestone has been stolen, the volcano is active, and the exterminator dragons have their claws out. Can Hiccup be the hero of the hour? And this one also has Alvin the Treacherous in it. Pretty much, The firestone that keeps the volcano stable on Lava Island was stolen, and Hiccup has to return it before all the exterminator dragons hatch and burn down the archipelago. Now we come into the area that I don't have. The 6th book. A Hero's Guide to Deadly Dragons. Now this book, pretty much, Hiccup, Kamikaze, and Fish Leaks are trapped in the Meathead Public Library. Now if you're a Viking, books are banned, so these, not a thing. They're all in the book, they're all in the library, owned by the Meatheads, that the hairy scary librarian is in charge of, and he pretty much is a scary dude. And Hiccup and Kamikaze go there because they're, what are they doing in there again? They're like stealing something so that Big Bertha can win a bet with someone, I believe. I don't know, I have to read that one again. So yeah, that's why, and they do get out, I will say that. And that when we meet the Harry Scary Librarian and Mad Guts the Murderess. And those 3 books, 4, 5, and 6, are kind of the middle point, still more of Hiccup's adventures. But we are getting into the main point of the overall story. Then we come to books 7, 8, and 9. 7 is How to Ride a Dragon Storm, and this one pretty much was a swimming contest. But instead of being the first back on shore, you want to be the last. And eventually, Hiccup, Kamikaze, and Fish Legs are all captured by Norbert the Nutjob again, who is on his quest for America. Norbert, being more mad and stuff, isn't really happy. Well, actually, Mad Guts turned him over, but. And that one is quite long. They spend a lot of time on the boat, but it is still pretty good. I mean, all the books are good. So that one, yeah, that one's okay. And then we come to the 8th book, and this is How to Break a Dragon's Heart. This one, pretty much, Kamikaze is trapped on Berserker Island. Fish Legs and Hiccup go there because Fish Legs fell in love with Ugly Thug's daughter. I don't know what her name is. And Hiccup has to bail him out once again, and we meet Alvin the Treacherous again. And we actually meet Alvin the Treacherous' mother, and the Dragon Furious. And this one is leading up. So 7, 8, and 9, these ones are leading up to the main point of the story. So 8, we actually do see the family tree and that Alvin and Hiccup are related. And we see the main plot for the entire book that Kusaikawa was leading up to, which I love. And then we get to book 9, which is one of my favorites, How to Steal a Dragon's Sword. This is where the Dragon Rebellion finally happens. We finally find out about the King of the Wilderness. Hiccup meets Fang, gets the sword and stuff, and pretty much becomes king, but because he has a slave mark, can't be king, and we get to the conflict between him and Alvin. And then we come to the last 3 books. I'm kind of flying through these last ones because this video is already longer than I wanted it to be. Actually, probably not, but it's probably getting long for you. Anyway, the last 3 books, these are my 3 favorite, and these are the these books have the most action, and it is the fight for who will become King of the Wilderness, Alvin or Hiccup. So in the 10th book, How to Seize a Dragon's Jewel, pretty much Hiccup is now a fugitive. Everyone else has been sent to the Amber Slave Lands by rule of Alvin, who considers himself the rightful king of the Wilder West. And he's pretty much looking for Hiccup and the Lost Things, which Hiccup has all of them. Actually, by this point, Alvin has them all because he stole them from Hiccup. But he's also looking for the Dragon Jewel. Long story short, Hiccup's looking for Fish Legs and trying to free his father, which he doesn't do. He does find Fish Legs and the Dragon Jewel. He also meets his long-lost mother, who was actually bounty hunting for Alvin trying to kill Hiccup. And she eventually convinces everyone to, it's like the United States. It's divided up into Democrats and Republicans. Here it's conservatives, liberals, Green Party, NPD, Bloc Quebecois, and stuff like that. But she pretty much decides, choose Hiccup or Alvin. Either, whoever gets there first is obviously rightful king. I believe Hiccup is rightful king, but maybe Alvin actually is rightful king. I don't know, you pick. So then, pretty much, we get the dragon markers and the Elvinsmen. I personally am a dragon marker, of course. And they split up the opposite ways, both racing towards tomorrow. Now we come to my favorite book, How to Betray a Dragon's Heel. Pretty much this one, everyone is heading towards tomorrow. Hiccup, Kamikaze, and Fishlegs, for some reason, are staying behind. Actually, they're not half tomorrow quite yet. But Alvin sent some poison dragons to sting Hiccup to kill them. Hiccup gets stung by one. And Snotlout ends up where they are and comes up with this whole story that he decided that Alvin wasn't really the best person to join, so now he's joining Hiccup. And pretty much leads Hiccup, Kamikaze, Fishlegs all to the Elvinsman lair. And pretty much betrays Hiccup, which, if you know Snotlout in the books, is actually quite accurate for him. And it's my favorite because of the end of what happens. So, pretty much, Snotlout and Hiccup are on a boat, sword fighting, trying to get to tomorrow. Alvin is chasing them, and then Snotlout is angry. Hiccup's like, "You should hate me. I hate you. You took my throne away from me, and that's why I've hated you all these years. That's why I've tried to kill you. And now," But then Hiccup eventually says, "Well, it's not allowed, you're my cousin. I can't really hate you, and you may have done all these bad things to me, but I understand you just wanted to be ruler, and I took that from you." But he does forgive Snotlout, and him and Snotlout switch dragon suits, and Snotlout actually goes out there and Alvin, being as dumb as he is, thinks that it's Hiccup and shoots him, and Snotlout dies. Sorry, I said I wouldn't spoil them. I'm spoiling that part. Snotlout dies. And Alvin lands on tomorrow, telling everyone Hiccup is dead, and comes to take his place as king. Then the 12th book. This one is the best. How to Fight a Dragon's Fury. Hiccup ends up on the land of tomorrow without his memory, and Moon's Fang and Toothless have to help him get there so he can become king, which he does, but then he has to face the Dragon Furious, who's not happy about how things are going. Okay. Ooh, it's almost 5 o'clock. Okay. And anyway, in the end, the dragons and humans make peace. Alvin the Treacherous finally dies, and Hiccup is now king of the Wild West. And that is the way the series ended. I realized I stopped saying when the books came out. 6th book, 2007, 7th book, 2008, 9th book, 8th book, 6th book, 2007, 7th book, 2008, 8th book, 2009, 9th book, 2010, when the movie came out. So that means then that books 10, which came out in 2011, and book 11, which came out in 2000. So the book series actually ended in 2015, so Chris Saikawa was still finishing off the series when the first 2 movies came out. Which I'm glad that, she was able to finish the series, and I'm very grateful for this series. Thank you so much, Chris Saikawa. This is a very good series. I do recommend you watch it, or read it. But do watch the How to Train Dragon series too, that's also good. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, comment down below which book is your favorite if you've read it. If you haven't read the books, comment down below what you thought of this video. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be doing a great debate video between these and the movie. Alright, see you.